Hello everybody, my name's Atley. Welcome back to my Satisfactory Let's Play, episode 5. In the last episode we did some exploration, opened up a bit of the map, found some hard drives, found some spiders, found some other creatures, gathered lots of stuff to unlock both MAM and alternate recipes. So really useful stuff to do. Just laughing at Mr. Bean there, playing around in my biomass factory, tripping himself up. It don't really hurt, but it's a bit unsightly, isn't it? Big thing like that walking through your factory. Anyway, speaking of unsightly, look at that spaghetti mess. You can't really avoid a bit of spaghetti mess when you're starting out. We built this stuff in episode 1, refined it a little bit ever since then, but basically that lot has to go. And as I said in the last episode, that's going to be the goal of this one. So we will I'm just on the hill up above my base, looking down on the spaghetti mess. Just see if we can get down without breaking our neck. There we go, that'll do. So what we're going to do is build some ironworks off of these two normal nodes behind our base that we haven't used yet. So before getting into that though, I did run around when I was editing the exploration episode. I noticed in the edit some raw crystal nodes on the map, like near where I was running, that I didn't notice when I was running around trying to avoid being eaten by mobs. So I've got some more silica. I ran around and grabbed that real quick before starting because it's going to let me make myself a set of blade runners. So we'll do that because these, as I said in the last episode, are brilliant. Would have been great for exploration, but now I can equip those on my leg slot, and it just means I can run a lot faster and I can jump a lot higher. So you can move around the map, but also around your base much faster with those blade runners. Very handy. And then the other thing is, let's have a quick look at, because I collected a few more bits and pieces. I've crafted up some alien DNA capsules from the alien protein that we got in the exploration episode. So that means, and I've also unequipped my healing barrel nuts, which means I can unlock this now. Don't know what the recipe is to make these yet. Protein inhaler. I can also unlock that. Don't know what structural analysis is. New node in a tree. So I don't know what that actually did. It unlocked structural analysis, but I don't know what that means. But it's also unlocked the ability for me to make a basic gun. Bit self-defense. And then the other thing, I needed to talk about something real quick. I'm going to try and do it quick because I want to get on with building. Put down an assembler. This is one of the restrictions. Basically, with this game, early game, you're only able to build the things you've unlocked, obviously. The challenge is, if you get something like a bolted frame, I got the recipe bolted iron plate in the last exploration episode as an alternate recipe for making reinforced iron plates. It takes 250 screws per minute. And I am currently only capable of making belts that can carry 120. So I can't at the moment leverage this recipe to the full. I don't get belts that can do the 250 until I unlock Logistics 3. Mark 3 belts can do 270. But to unlock this, I need to be doing steel production and you see the pattern, right? I would have to unlock steel production. I would have to make some steel foundries. I would need to make ingots into beams and pipes and so on. So I'm not going to unlock any of that lot now. I'm just explaining that when I build now my iron factory, I can't really make best use of my recipes that I unlocked in last episode until I progress up the tree a bit. But in order to progress up the tree, I want to sort out this spaghetti mess first. So without further ado, we're going to get building. snap it to world grid. I want it slightly elevated. And then I want to put a couple of miners down. Don't need that one for a minute. And then there's another thing worth saying real quick. I have just put down, this is a normal iron node, and a Mark 1 miner without overclocking, as with the other two that we're already running, will produce 60 per minute. If I overclock it 200%, which takes 2 shards, it'll produce 120 per minute, and that happens to be the level of belts that I've currently got. Ultimately, this iron node will, on a normal node, when you get Mark 3 miners and fully overclock them, you can get 600 per minute out of one of these nodes. So at the minute, I'm going to build something that can only make use of 2 times 120, but my goal is going to be, as quickly as I can do it, to get myself running faster than that. I think I might go one higher. Do I want to go one higher? Nah. Yeah. So I'm going to build a factory. Now I'll explain that a bit better. I'm going to build a factory that can make use of 2 times 120 belts. But I also want to try and have in the back of my mind that eventually this will scale to 2 times 600 per minute product. And in order to do that, you can think about the way the factory's built and design it with future growth in mind. But at the minute, I can only do what I can do, so I'm not going to worry about it until I do steel in a future episode. I just need to architecture, ladder, give myself a ladder so I can get up there. Probably a couple of things I want to unlock. I've got 13 coupons at the minute. A couple of things I want to unlock for this factory. Architecture, I want to do concrete pillars. Management, I want to do wall power. Don't need anything out of there. Don't need anything out of there. Walls, I want that. Don't worry about doors. Is there anything else in architecture? Anything here? What about... Let's take some hats. Is that 13? It's 12. Let's take arrows as well then. 13. So we're just going to unlock everything we've currently got points for. And then what that's given us is some new things we can build, including these things, which I find really useful. What that is, I'll just drop down, is I can now put belts straight through that. Just change my build mode so that it's an input at the bottom. Actually, thinking about it, I want... Right. Input at the bottom. Input at the bottom. And then mark 2 belt. can't get them exactly straight because the mines themselves don't snap to world grid. But that'll be close enough. Right, back up the ladder. And now we've got, obviously I've not powered this up, so nothing's coming out of it. But now we've got 2 times 120 coming in these sockets here. Build a bit more floor to work off. I basically need to build smelters that can consume 120 times 2. So we'll start by putting a splitter down. There. Another one next to it. They won't be joined. We're basically going to build something here that is symmetrical around this line. So that's the first splitter. And then we will put in a smelter there. Just see if that works. I'm not worried about the fact that it's clipping because it's not actually joining. So to start with, we'll do let's put a couple of smelters in. And then we can merge the output. 120 divided by 30 is 4. Each of these can do 30. Takes 30 ore. So we'll copy that. Paste that. Paste that. Paste that. And then we'll set this up with and the output will come in my direction so that we feed the input in from this end. The output comes back to this end, and therefore we can scale this by adding as many rows of these in that direction as we want. So this will be a merger on the center line that's coming back towards the front. I'm going to call it the front, but basically the minor end of the base. And they can all be Mark 1 belts, because they're only ever going to carry 30 per minute. Why isn't that? They're back to front. Do that quite a lot. All right. Yep. Another one in snug next to it. And then because it's combining them, we need this to be a Mark II belt down the middle. And eventually they'll be Mark 7 or whatever the top level belts are. And this is going to be an output. So for now, I'll just put a belt there that shows me from the direction the conveyor's running that that's an output. Another splitter on that one. And there and there. So again, Mark 1 belts are fine for that. And we want to do another, basically symmetry of that on this side. Let's just build that real quick. So that's symmetrical. We've got now 8 smelters ready to consume 2 lines of 120. We just need to feed that output. So the input from here will come from overhead. The reason I stepped that wall up is that it gives me, and this needs to be a Mark II, is that it gives me I can maintain my walkway. I can walk underneath it, so that's useful. That wants to be a Mark II, so we'll upgrade it in place. A lot of this stuff you can upgrade in place. Mark II belt into there. So we've now got those fed on the inside line. What we need to do is feed out here. So that would be a splitter on each of these. Belted up. There's ones on the inside and twos on the outside. And then that can feed from here down there. It gives me a bit of leg room to walk around the outside, do the same on the other end. All nice and square, nice and regular. And then what I'm going to do is put down a tower, temporary. And you can see that what we've now got is a feed. Get rid of my hands. A feed of two belts coming in this side, and then a symmetrical system that takes the input down the middle and down the outside, and then brings the output back towards the front. And I'll do something with that little bit of belt when I'm ready to build the next part. But the point really is that, that lets me see that I've missed those bits. It's better. Is that we've got ore flowing in this direction and ingots flowing back through here, and it's balanced on a manifold well enough. And that will do 2 times 120. So when these mines are fully upgraded to Mark III and fully overclocked, and we've got the belts to support it, and these become 2 times 600, what I'll need to do is build the same as this line 4 more times, so that we've got a total of 20 smelters on each side, and that will smelt 1200 ore into 1200 ingots quite happily. And regardless of how much that scales in that direction, the input is still coming back here. So now what I'm going to do is build a floor above, and we'll come up. How high should we go? 1 meter. So not there. We want that to be there. Down through the middle. And then we're going to have a second floor that will be our constructors. And again, now this is less easy to scale, because you build your constructors and set recipes, and some will do plates, some will do screws, some will do rods, and it's not so easy to make it, so you can just keep scaling forever easily. Give a nice big floor to start with, though. I will drop down here, and we'll do another ladder. Maybe there, just so I can get up to that floor. And then what we're going to do with this is we will get rid of a little bit of belt. We'll take that as our center line. We're going to put a floor hole there. Center line, floor hole there. That will have an input, and then needs to be Mark II. And that is going to take our output up to the next floor. So these now will have each of these floor lifts will be providing a 120 rate of ingots. I know I'm going to need more capacity in the long run. What I think I'm going to do is build constructors based on a longer term goal. So I'm going to build a line of 10. Oh, hello. Only just survived that one. Need some more floor up there, mate. It's all floating stuff at the minute, obviously. I'll worry about making it stand up once it's all working. And I'm almost certainly not going to get this finished in one episode, right? And this is a very complex game, and I'm building something really simple at the minute. So by the time you get to more end game stuff, one more. Right. So that's 10. I've done some calculations on in a notepad, paper, pencil. That's how I do all my stuff for this. I don't use spreadsheets too much for this. Too complicated. I find it easy to just to jot it. I've done some calculations based on when these mines are upgraded to Mark II, which I'll do when I get steel. They will be providing 240, and I'll have belts capable of carrying 270. So I've done some calculations based on that. So what I'm going to do here is run a splitter network times 10, because I'm going to want 6 doing iron plate and then 4 doing iron rods. And then screws are another matter. We'll worry about them in a sec. So the first 6 will be plate, and they only take 30 each. And then these will do rods. Take 15 each. Really handy that you can copy and paste these settings. They will all have Mark I belts. And then Mark II for the backbone. And you could argue that it's worth just doing all of them as Mark IIs because it'd be easier to remember. This is prone to mistakes, right? But when you got a manifold like this, if anything, using the lowest level belt you can into there helps the manifold to balance quicker. So that is then going to be 120, well, 240 eventually. Coming down this line to feed all of these. And I need to merge the output. But there's going to be 2 separate things to merge. Because I've got the first 6. Well, the first 4 from this end are rods. So if I put down mergers times. And unlike below, I'm going to run the output this way, because then I'll probably extend this floor and do assemblers here. So this is going to be we're going to be ignoring that. So these are going to produce 15. So again, Mark 1 belts are fine for that connection. And to remind myself that this is a group, not part of the previous 6. There's no merger here. That's just a straightforward belt into this merger. And then I can do mergers. Mergers. For the next 5. And again, this one can then be done that way. And then Mark 2 down the middle, because we're going to exceed the 60 of a Mark 1. And then we've ended up with 2 merged lines. We will have done when I connect them all up. One of which has got 6 times 20 the iron plates. That can go there and feed this way. And then the other has got four times 15 for iron rods. And we just need to put a stacked pole here to allow that belt on the top to come over the top. So now we got a fairly neat output manifold, 2 times outputs. And for completeness, just put that to there so we can see we got 2 output belts coming this way. Bottom one will be rods, top one will be plates. And that is that half. And that is consuming, if it was fully belted up, that would consume 240 ingots, which is what we'll have after we've done a bit of steel. So now we're going to basically do the same again, but symmetrical and double it so that there are 20 constructors to do screws. So on this center line, splitters. Quite handy to put splitters down first because they give you a decent guide to make sure you're putting your constructors in the right place. More. And then this floor will have 30 constructors on it. Right, so all of these are going to do screws. Do that first. These are going to do the cast screw. So these aren't going to work properly until I've got the belts capable of carrying 250. but it's still the recipe that I'm going to prep them for, because I'm hoping that those belts are only 1 episode or 2 away. I'm going to run around and do these real quick. Right. Now I've just got to belt it all up. I've got to do, actually thinking about it, I've also got to do mergers, haven't I? Let's just put mergers down as well. And again, mergers are going to come this way. I felt that was wrong when I had to put it down. And then I want to leave a gap. I realise that's the same as what I did for the rods on the other side. I only want to do 4. Because what we're going to be doing here is merging these screws. Because they're basically outputting 50. We're going to be merging these screws in a group of 5. So each of these is 50. Let's start belting up. So they're all going to put 50 onto the bus. And then I'll effectively have 4 lines of 250 screws. Coming out. Mark 2s. So the bus itself is going to be Mark 2s. It will end up being Mark 3s. I'm just... Oh. I haven't got Mark 3s yet. So at the minute, I just want it to be as fast as it can be. And this factory will just not run at full capacity yet.
1 eternity later.
Right. Well, that was a bit of a slog. But what we've ended up with, again, I'll do a little tower. What we've ended up with on the ground floor, or on the floor below, we're turning 120 ore into 120 ingot. And then on this floor, we're assuming that's been upgraded to 240, and we're turning 240 ingots on this side into 120 plate and 60 rods. And then on that side, we're turning 240 into basically 1,000 screws, 4 lines of 250 screws. And it isn't going to work properly until I've upgraded my belts to Mark III. But at least I feel like I've built for the future with this little floor. When you look at it compared to what we've got over there with 2 miners, 4 smelters and 4 constructors, this is a big scale up. So I'm slightly worried about power. And I haven't powered this up yet. I haven't set all of the recipes. I haven't got everything tested and working and sorted out. But that is the main part of this factory done. Now, what I need to do next is I need to put some assemblers down. So I'm going to give myself a bit more floor space. And I think I need 4 assemblers for when this is fully operational with 240 belt upgrades. I'm going to want 4 assemblers. One of those is going to do reinforced iron plates with the new recipe. So one of these lines of 250 screws will go into a reinforced iron plates. plates at the top, aren't they? So let's do that one first. I'm not really sure how to lay this out. So let's just a little bit of trial and error to work out exactly how I want to lay this out. I don't mind it coming off this center line, really. That's a bit too close. A lot too close. Try that. And then if that's got the bolted iron plates, it'll take most of the iron plate. There'll be a surplus of 10, or maybe a surplus of 30. I'll do my maths again. But anyway, there'll be a surplus, and I'm not going to worry about that for now, because it isn't going to run at full capacity anyway. So that needs one full line of screws. Which could be from there. And then it's going to need plates which are from the top. So for plates, we'll put a Mark II lift and bring that from there across here that line back to lift it up to, and then that's a nice neat little right angle to go in. That's beautiful ish. Yeah, I'm not sure if I think I'd rather not because it makes any difference really. I think I'd rather take that from the top. So if I put a hole symmetrical and up to that height, then I can put my belt that way, and then another lift there. And then just because it looks symmetrical, I think that's neater. Yeah, that'll do. And then I need another assembler. Where I want to put it. Just do that for now. Probably isn't where I want it to stay. But the bolted frame then takes reinforced iron plates plus screws. Which means the output needs to have a slight gap to it. Do that. And then these screws can come at ground level, because for this it makes a bit more sense. That's putting those screws into there. Oh, no. I want to take it into this one. Because I want half of the output from this. I don't want all of it. So we'll split that. The beans sounds mighty close there. That actually works all the way in. And then the other half is my output to go to storage or whatever. So then I've got modular frames being produced there and excess reinforced iron plates being produced there. And the only other thing I got to do is 2 more assemblers. To do rotors. I think I want to move these 2 over here to give me more space. Sometimes you just need to think about it a little bit before you actually build, or build it, see what you think, and then rework it. But realistically, you're not going to be building the whole factory in one episode, because I want to keep my videos well under an hour, really. The last couple have been a bit longer than I like to do. So I actually think I'm going to leave this one here. So let me have a little... down another lookout. Yeah, I need to fit 2 more, but they're both going to do the same thing, which is rotors. So I think I need to move these 2 assemblers over here and make it work. And then have 2 over that side for the rotors. Or put a floor above for the assemblers, which would give me future expansion for constructors out this way as well. But that's an aesthetic choice that I think I need a bit of time to think about. So it's not finished. That in itself is a little bit frustrating for me, maybe for you as well, but definitely for me. But I've got to face into the fact for this series, because I'm recording it for YouTube. If I was doing it on a stream, I could play for 2 or 4 hours and it wouldn't be so bad. But because I'm recording it as a Let's Play for episodes, 2-hour episodes just don't work. So I am going to wrap this episode here. Hopefully you've seen enough to see what I'm trying to get at. And then in the next episode, we'll get this finished, connected up to power, running, and piping its output back to storage. And we'll have significantly upgraded iron capability compared to what we've currently got. So hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one where we'll finish off this iron factory. But in the meantime, thanks and goodbye.